Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. This time I want to go over like a mini card review, but more along the lines of like a talk about a card that's causing a lot of flack in the community right now, and that's going to be the Dimension Magic extra card we're going to apparently be getting in set 5. So quickly, right before we do get into this video, if you guys enjoy DBS content, if you enjoy discussions like this, if you enjoy deck profiles, if you enjoy the strategy series where we teach you guys a little bit about how to play the game, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and that like button. It just helps us continue to keep making awesome content for you guys. So now, with that out of the way, we're going to get right into the mini card review / discussion on Dimension Magic. So we have the new Janemba leader. Super stoked about that. Janemba is one of my favorite forces of evil in this game. I can't even call him a villain really, because it seems like he's not really motivated by villainous means. He's more just like a pure thing of evil, almost like Boo. But that out of the way, Janemba on the Unawakened side, he'll attack, he'll mill 2 from the top of the deck, and he'll draw 1. That's important for a part of the video I'm going to get into later. And then on the 4 life, he'll untap 2 energy and he'll awaken, and then I'll go into the Supreme Evil Janemba. So his auto is a Sparking 5, and the really interesting part is he doesn't get any of this auto unless he has 5 in drop area. So that really conflicts with Overwhelm, which is a pretty big benefit in a lot of decks. But this effect has to have 5 in graveyard. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, and this card gains 5k power and critical for duration of the turn. So that's an insane leader ability, right? Automatically swinging for 20k, gaining critical, and drawing a card, but you don't get any of that unless you have 5 in your drop area. Then you have to activate main of discarding a card from your hand, and during the turn, when your opponent activates a counterplay, guys, keep that in mind. Not any counter period. A lot of people are misreading that. So that's like Cold Bloodlust, Crusher Ball, and Ectoplasm. They choose 3 cards from their hand placed in the drop area. So that's a really cool niche role in the game to counter leaders like Cold Bloodlust. Like, if this was around during Mecha Frieza format, I wonder how that would have influenced the metagame. That would have been really cool to see, in my opinion, just because it does lead some counterplay to that. You know, Cold Bloodlust is a very insane card, and if the right leader had their hands on it, actually we might even see with the Wish mechanic with that Shenron leader, which I will talk about more later. This serves a really cool niche purpose. So I'm really a big fan of this leader. But now to move on to the real topic of the discussion is this card, Dimension Magic. Now this card is causing a lot of flack in the community right now over how broken it is. Some people think it's really just snapped in half. Some people think it's a pretty fair card. A lot of people acknowledge that it's really good. Most people acknowledge that it's a really good card. And I definitely agree with that. It's completely insanely good. If you're playing a blue leader, this automatically power creeps Whis' Coercion. And I'm not sure if it's completely snapped in half quite yet. I'm gonna have to think on it more. I'm gonna have to start playtesting it and see how it is, but I'm not quite sure if it's snapped in half. And there's a few reasons for that. But let's go over why it's incredibly good. So it's a 1-cost blue counter attack. If your leader card is blue, negate the attack, then choose up to 2 of your blue energy, switch them to active mode. So like I said, if you're playing blue, this automatically power creeps Whis' Coercion. It's kind of like a Senzu Bean built into a Whis' Coercion, except that you don't get the 5k pump. So you are missing out on that, but this card's still incredibly good. Then we have the permanent Sparking 5. So this is actually the part that a lot of people are saying that it's snapped in half broken. So with 5 cards in drop area, you can activate this card's counter by taking a card from your life and placing it in your hand instead of paying its energy cost. So this is kind of reminiscent to the Mecha Frieza days where you could activate a Senzu Bean in your opponent's turn and pay a life to untap 2 energy instead of actually having to tap any energy. So a little bit triggered, a little bit of PTSD there, but this card's a little bit different. This card requires a little bit more setup. Now, for a leader like Janemba, where you're attacking on the Unawakened side to mill 2 and then draw 1, the setup is there. The leader sets it up for you. So this card is definitely going to be really solid in Janemba, at least at the first glance. But it's a little bit harder for the leaders to set up. And what I mean by that is most of the blue leaders don't mill cards. The best way to get cards to drop area is to combo, and you're really not going to be comboing too much in the beginning of the game. So it's pretty hard to set this card up, and what that means is it's not as beneficial for you as a 8-life leader, where you can activate this card to help you start awakening. This card is really, the sparking part of this card is really going to be turned on mostly in the late game where you're already awakened, and it's going to be more of a debate whether you want to go down to 3 or 2 life in order to activate this card for free. So it's still a great option. Like if you're getting swung out the triple strike and you have this card up and you're at 3 energy, I think it's pretty no-brainer that you're going to go down to 2 in order to not take a triple strike, and then you're going to be able to reset those 2 energy. But it's going to be a little bit more challenging to use this card in leaders that aren't Janemba, at least from what we know about the card pool now. So that's what I want to mention about Sparking 5. It's still really crazy you can activate a card for free and untap 2 energy, but I think the situations it's going to be relevant in are a little bit niche, a little bit tough in terms of decision making. So that's my opinion on that. The fact that this thing does resend to blues, it's really good, guys. There's no beating around the bush. It's really good, but I'm not sure if it's snapped in half broken. I think this card came as a result from the community wanting a slowing down of the format, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm actually a decently big fan of that. The fact that they kind of listen to us and they know that we don't want a format where aggro is completely 100% dominant, so they gave us a card like this to help on the defensive side of things, which I think is really cool. Now, we are kind of seeing, at least from playtesting and a couple of the small tournament results, we'll see more after this weekend at the Atlanta Regional. But it seems like the format is shifting from that aggro format, and now that Flute's at 1, now the SS3 is banned, it seems like we're shifting more into a mid-range format, which I'm personally a big fan of. Sorry to all you aggro players out there, but that's what the trend kind of seems like from playtesting and from these smaller tournaments. But I think we got a card like Dimension Magic because of the outcry of aggro, and it was a totally warranted outcry in my opinion. That format was very stale. A lot of people would say I am one of those people as well. But there are a few glaring problems with this card. Not the fact that it's broken, but the fact that it's just a little bit poorly designed, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So your leader card is blue. That's the first problem with this card. In my opinion, this card spreads the gap from blue leaders to every other leader. It infinitely raises that gap, right? So this card is a type of card that really is going to incentivize you to play blue leaders because free energy is always good. It's always good. I don't think it might not be completely broken because this is not an offensive card. It's solely a defensive card, and what that means is that you can't really use this to oppress someone and do uninteractive things on your turn to kill them with. Like we saw with Mecha Frieza being able to abuse things like Senzu Bean for free, being able to drop Shugesh and drop Saiyans off Shugesh to keep attacking the opponent for free. The fact that this is solely defensive means that you just like have a lot of really good defensive options for your opponent's onslaught, which I'm not necessarily sure is broken. It's really good. Like I've been saying, that it definitely is very good, but the fact that this is restricted to blue leaders is in my opinion, a big design problem with this card, because blue already has so much access to untapping energy. I so much wish that this card was coming out for green or red, because blue and yellow already have the best defense in the game between Nimbus and like Senzu Bean and Whis' Coercion. Green and red really needed a card like this so that they can play a more defensive game, especially against aggro. So I'm kind of sad we didn't get that. Like this card really strongly incentivizes playing a blue leader, where the red negate we saw in the red spoilers for set 5, that card is like counterattack, doesn't even negate the attack, boost whatever's being attacked by 40k, and then drop something on your opponent's field by 10k. That's a cool card. It's a decent card. It basically is almost as good as a negate because it's very unlikely your opponent's going to combo up to 40k. Noted, it is actually particularly good against Victory Strike. And it also has the potential of killing a 10k on your opponent's board. So like, let's say like an additional Goten that hasn't swung yet. So it's really good for that reason. But that doesn't necessarily make me want to go out and pick up a red leader just to play that card. The card's not strong enough on its own, unlike a card like this that is really strong on its own. It just does really incredible things for defense. So this card really just pushes the gap from blue leader up past all the rest of the colored leaders. Like we saw in every single format, basically except Mecha Frieza and Shugesh format, that blue leaders have always been the best decks because they have so much access to untapping energy. And untapping energy in an energy or land-based game is really good, guys. In case you didn't know, that effect is really strong. It allows you to play on curve without the real fear of dying, where a lot of other colors, they have to play on curve, they have to tap out. So it's not as good necessarily. They want to play a turn behind to leave energy up for defense, where blue doesn't necessarily have to do that. Like I really wish this card came out for blue or for green or red, not for blue. We haven't seen the green cards yet. That they might end up releasing a card like this for green. I would love to see that. I highly doubt it because I don't think they're going to go with the same exact card text on a green card. I honestly hope they do. I wouldn't even be annoyed the fact that it's kind of just like overly simple for them to just do that. I'd be actually really happy if they did that so green could get some more access to defense. So that's one of my main problems with this card. My other main problem with this card is the fact that if they bring back SS3, this card's going to just be absolutely insane in mono blue SS3. It's going to, like, when you have really good cards in the game, they're really complemented by the most broken cards in the game. Like, that's why we have SS3 just making everything a tier above what it almost maybe should be. And with SS3 in combination with this card, mono blue SS3 is going to be able to effectively end their turn with 4 energy up, which is pretty broken. In that case, it does become rather broken, but that's because you have the broken leader SS3 facilitating that. So I do think this card is a little bit problematic with the return of SS3. I really hope, Bandai, that you guys decide to keep SS3 banned after this format. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy this format, and I hope that SS3 just stays banned after the fact. So that's kind of my spiel on Dimension Magic. I mean, like I said, not sure if it's necessarily a broken in half card. It's going to be incredibly good at defending. It's going to be really good at helping you defend. But it's not going to really help you oppress your opponent too much on offense, outside the fact that you can play more free Hans for better costs. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. Now I want to go over and quickly talk about what we're starting to see with the wish mechanic. We've seen a little bit of these yellow spoilers, and I believe more are going to be spoiled come tomorrow, Friday. So we have like this guy that can rest barrier mode 2-drops, cool. We have this guy that can search Dragon Balls, not bad. This guy can summon 3-drop freezes. We haven't seen any good 3-drop freezes yet, but this is where it starts to get a little interesting. So this card allows you to send a 4 or less Frieza from your deck to the graveyard, and that sets up a play for this card, Revival of the Emperor. So this is the 2-drop wish card we're seeing for the yellow wish leader. Activate main if your leader card is yellow Shenron, which the Sorbet, and then the other side is like a Frieza Shenron. Choose one Frieza card in your drop area with energy cost 4 or less and play it. So we saw the Foolish Burial card right here, the card that sends from your deck to the graveyard any Frieza you want, 4-drop or less. This card will have targets of Clan of Terror Mecha Frieza, which allows you to look at your opponent's hand, play something from the hand in rest mode, so you get that hand knowledge, which is incredibly good in a game like this, really in any game, but in a game like this, that card is incredibly good. You can see what your opponent's working with for combos, for negates, things like that. Or the other card is the Returning Terror Mecha Frieza, I think it's called, where you can discard a card, pop 2 rest mode battle cards, and it'll gain dual attack. It has dual attack, and it'll gain double strike for the turn. So you have 2 really good 4-drops ready to summon off of that, and where I'm sure we're gonna get more 4-drop freezes to see once the rest of this is revealed tomorrow. But this is a little bit of an issue I'm seeing with the way Wish is working so far, and these Desire cards, is that when you activate your leader's ability to activate a Desire from your hand without paying its energy cost, it only says activate the skill on that, and that the way that people are interpreting that right now is that you don't send the Desire to the graveyard, which is a little bit problematic because it just, like, again, it generates more free energy, which is in case you guys didn't know, it's a bit of an issue for games to have so much free energy cards. So on the backside, I can go like activate my leader's ability, reveal this Desire card, reborn a 4-drop 20k double striker or 15k dual attack double striker from my graveyard for free, and then get its effects off that really hurt my opponent, and then I can keep that Desire in my hand and then cast it for 2. So this is like turn 3, 4, 5 where I'm on my wish side and doing this. That's a really good 2 energy investment play. Reborning 2 big 4-drop double striker dual attackers that like do crazy things to my opponent. That's a really insane 2 energy play. It's also kind of insane that I can Foolish Burial or send from my deck to the graveyard a Mecha Frieza, a Clan of Terror Mecha Frieza, and then reborn it on turn 2 anyway, and just like make them rest a super combo onto their board, and then I can swing at it, and they probably aren't gonna have really good defense against that. But the fact that this is like a 2 energy play at any point in the game is kind of insane. I really hope they end up making it so that when you activate those Desire cards from your hand, you are forced to put them in the graveyard. I really hope that's the ruling they decided to go with and enforce. But that's just my opinion on that as well. I want to keep this game as fun and balanced as possible. I think Bandai does want to do that too. So hopefully they are in line with that line of thought, and they can, start to see this from the card design perspective, and just keep this the game we all enjoy. I think the community is doing a great job of addressing issues. Of course you cannot please everyone. That's just a complete impossibility. But I think we've had general consensuses like Mecha Frieza being broken, like SS3 being broken. I think that the community has been able to come together for the most part on those things and get the job done in terms of getting our points across the Bandai. So great job to you guys. I'm really proud of all you guys out there doing a great job trying to keep this game fun and balanced. So thank you guys so much for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do consider liking and subscribing to Crossfit TCG. It would really mean the world to me, guys. It would just mean so much to me if you guys would sub to us, and we'll be able to keep getting you this great Dragon Ball Super content. Whether it's these card discussions, whether it's deck profiles, whether it's a strategy series, definitely stay in tune for all that stuff. Our Discord link is going to be down in the description below. Make sure you get in on that. It's free to all the community. Just come in, talk about your deck profiles, your thoughts on the game, whatever you want. Come talk to us about it. Hashtag Shenron hates free energy. My name's Joey. This is Crossfit TCG, and I'll see you next time.